Booyah, good morning, it's Naga here. I want to talk about this lovely year for gaming. It's a new, wonderful year filled with possibilities and hope, and not yet with malice and poison, and let's look at some of the wonderful things we can look forward to this year. This is mostly a my list thing, so obviously this is things I'm looking forward to, but some of them you might not have heard of, you might not have considered. I will also consider games that are possibly releasing in 2017, and then what I consider garbage games. That why are you doing these games? Like, why are you giving this out? Why are you releasing this? There's not many of them. Um, Before we begin, I would like to say that I've had a new SSD installed, which means I had to redo Windows, which means I'm an idiot because I lost a lot of my editing materials and tools. The good side of that is the new free editing software I use doesn't crash like Sony Vegas Pro does, zing, but also it makes ridiculously small videos, so uploading these does not anymore take hours and hours, and that's just wonderful. Right, so my videos will be a little bit more crap as I sort of come to grips with the new software. Like, even if it looks 98% like Sony Vegas exactly, it does things differently. So, I cannot stop doing that, sorry. Let's get on with it. First of all, Resident Evil 7 is due to release sometime in January, and I've been a fan of Resident Evil since Resi 2. I've played 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and even 6, and I mean I completed 6 with every character, but I didn't enjoy 6. It was full auto. I did not enjoy it. And despite people thinking, oh, 5 is terrible because it's not Resident Evil, I don't agree with that. I think it isn't Resident Evil at the core of the gameplay mechanics, but it was still quite fun. I just wish Sheva wouldn't eat bullets for breakfast every goddamn time I give her something to... Right, Resident Evil 7, I've seen the demo of it, and that's my involvement with it. I don't know any of the story, any of the setting bits. Half of me doesn't really care, because it's not tangible for me. But I'm interested, because they've done a very good job with the multiple endings, I've seen someone else play the demo. Horror games, pure horror games aren't exactly my thing. The older Resident Evil games work because there's shooting and there's other stuff. I'm probably going to play this, like, if the roommate gets it, because he was the one who played it. It looks interesting, and it does look like a return to, maybe not the roots, not the exact roots, but the atmosphere is there again. At least in the demo it was. So keep an eye on that. Well, Tales of Berseria has come out on PC, and I'm really annoyed at it, because I was looking forward to it, and just recently they said, oh, it has de nouveau. Now, I am not happy with that, because de nouveau is a pile of shit. DRM, of almost any kind, is a pile of shit. Steam is DRM, but it offers you chatting, leaderboard, support, collectibles, trading, whatever. You can browse in your game, you don't have to alt-tab. That is absolutely fair. As much as I don't like Valve for 100 reasons, Steam is a good DRM. And, I'm not above admitting that the company I don't like makes a thing I like. But de nouveau, there's been reports, allegedly, that it wrecked SSDs, that it has problems, and it impacts gameplay performance, and suspiciously a lot of the games that came out did run like shit. It might not be de nouveau's fault that Batman Arkham Knight ran like shit on the PC, but I'm not gonna say it didn't contribute, because it's a fucking mess, and I absolutely hate it. So I'm either not getting Berseria at all, which is a shock to me, because I've gotten every Tales of game since Eternia, and that is proper Eternia with Farah and Reed from the PS1. That I could, obviously. There were some Japanese exclusives I didn't, and, I was looking forward to it, and I'm just sort of sitting here fists clenched, because I don't want to, if I can avoid it, get anything on a console that I can get on a PC. I like my little control center here. I like being able to alt-tab. That's gonna be weird. Sorry about that. I don't want to be in the other room, not be able to check my emails, keep up with news. I'm a bit of a tech junkie. I have to be plugged in, So, but generally, against I see this as a minor blow to customers. A small middle finger, because they didn't have to do this, and they'll eventually bypass it. And I know, the initial first week or whatever of sales, but really treating paying customers like a piece of shit just to keep a few pirates out, come on, this is This is getting old. The next game is Neo, and I'm just going to say that I literally have 9 or 10 different characters in Dark Souls 3. The asshole, the cleric, the sorcerer, the pyromancer, the knight, the tank. I beat it with every kind of character you can imagine, and I want more. But there won't be more for a while, and with rumors that From Software is going to waste resources on remaking Demon's Souls, which I'm sorry, I know it's the first one and it should be respected for that, I do not like. It had a lot of mechanics wrong. It was an absolute pain to play a couple of times. It was open to abuse of all sorts. Neo looks like it will offer a slight twist on the familiar Demon's Souls formula while keeping the core gameplay intact. And I know it's not From Software. I don't know who it is because I'm an idiot, but I'm looking forward to it. I have high hopes for Neo, and I'm very excited to have this come out. I'm hoping that I will be able to sink hundreds of hours into this one as well. If not, and if it's only one playthrough of, I don't know, 20 to 30 hours, that's fine. If it's 15 hours, that'll still be fine, but I'll raise an eyebrow at it. I didn't play the demo. I just glossed over it for some reason without meaning to, so I don't know what I'm getting, but the gameplay footage and the various analyses do look promising. I'm definitely looking forward to Neo, and if you're a Dark Souls fan, you should definitely at least check out, what it's about a little bit. You might not want it because it's a sort of spiritual samurai bend, I think, but might be good. Next big one is Horizon Zero Dawn. I am puzzled by this title. I saw it, I like it, the roommate absolutely loves it, and I do want to be more excited for it, but I just can't for some reason. It's coming out, and maybe I'm not excited because I know, we're gonna get it, because the roommate's gonna get it. And maybe it's that I'm gonna own it, but I'm not excited about it. But it does look tremendous, and, politics aside, it's nice to have a female lead. It's I'm not going to say everything needs female leads, but it is refreshing to have a different personality, a different point of view coming across, and the gameplay itself looks interesting, like robot dinosaurs and weird prehistoric mech hunting with lightning. I don't even know how to describe this game. It looks amazing. If you haven't heard about it, do look it up. I think, despite my weird lack of excitement, that it is going to be worth your time if you're into that sort of genre, and it might click with you even if you're not. You look at it and it looks solidly built and like it'll be reliable. I don't think there'll be scumminess involved in the game. I get that feeling, and I don't know if that makes sense to anyone. Next thing is Breath of the Wild. Very small unplanned mention here for the Nintendo Switch. It's releasing on March 3 or 8. I'm so bad with dates, I don't want to have click noises in my video. Basically, yeah, Nintendo Switch is coming, $300. Do I like it? I'm slightly offended by the Switch. I'm curious and cautious, but also slightly offended, because I don't think it's $300 worth of value. The specifications still haven't been properly revealed. It's just, it's an NVIDIA Tegra processor. Ooh, okay. That's wonderful. So what can it do? I know it's mostly about the games, but if the games are forced to look like shit, I'm probably not going to get them. And if they're exclusive and I have to get them, I'll probably wait until it becomes a $50 console like all of poor Nintendo's consoles lately. 32 gigabytes of internal storage to begin with, that's shit. That is shit. If you get just Breath of the Wild, and let's say it has a 3 gigabyte patch, and or 8 gigabytes for DLC, that's, a 10% to 30% of it gone. I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing, Nintendo? You can buy micro SD cards to make it bigger, but that's like the Vita. People didn't like it with the Vita. I am slightly snarking at how easily they swallow this. Like, there's not the complaining here that, you need to buy an extra memory card. Ooh, tiny bit of favoritism, I think. I mourn my Vita, just in hindsight, lovely little system, but it was let down. Besides that, the Nintendo Switch has some interesting games coming out. That weird Mario game that they had a footage of, and it starts in a super urban environment with taxis and pavements, and I thought, fuck me, this is certainly a change. Like, I didn't think it was properly Mario. But, they're heading in a new direction and I should keep an open mind. I'm not actually against it. I'm just very surprised that after basically 30 years, this is the direction they're now heading in. It's very odd. It's, it's going to be interesting. Fire Emblem Warriors looks alright, but I'm a Dynasty Warriors fan, kind of, so we'll see. As for Breath of the Wild itself, I've been keeping up with some footage, some reports, and it does look gorgeous. It is the art style gorgeous type of game. And you can tell that there's not great graphical fidelity behind it, but everything looks smooth and sweet and colorful and like it blends with the world, and the artistic cohesion of that caliber is to be respected. It might not be a technically impressive game, we don't know yet. Like, what I've seen, it does look fairly impressive. But I'm excited because this is the first open world Zelda game. You'll be able to do, obviously, things you haven't been able to do before. I'm curious to see how they handle the gating elements. You can't go here. Why can't you go here? Can you upgrade your sword? What do you have to do to upgrade your sword? It feels like a natural overdue evolution of the whole adventure thing Zelda was doing for forever. I mean, Twilight Princess gave you a bit of open world. Not exactly, but you had bigger places to run across and you had some sort of detours to take. Sometimes you could do this quest, whatever. I'm saying it was bigger overall. It didn't constrain you as much as previous games. I'm cautiously excited for this one, but as it is on the Switch, and there's a Wii U version, and I do own a Wii U, but, I don't know what they're going to do with that. I don't know if they're going to castrate it, remove content, how much worse it'll look, how much worse it'll run. Or if they're going to do weird world flipping like the Twilight Princess, which I've affectionately nicknamed toilet paper because TP, because I'm really mature. Next up is Mass Effect Andromeda. I have so much excitement for Andromeda, it's crazy. I played 1, and when I started to play Mass Effect 1, I hated it. It was clunky, it was awful, I just couldn't stand it. I couldn't go 2 hours into the game, I couldn't go 1 hour into the game, I couldn't get off fucking Eden Prime. Then I eventually grudgingly went back to it and completed it, and I thought, yeah, that was alright. Then they came out with 2, which was mechanically superior, the writing was better, and, even though you didn't have Rex as a party member, which is a cardinal sin, I will say, it was a much more solid game. Fuck the Mako. And, yeah, I liked it. And then I got to 3, and despite the ending, despite the absolutely ludicrous, bargain bin, no effort, fan insulting, piece of shit ending, shame on you, BioWare, it was a great game in itself. The adventure was good. It's just a shame that instead of cresting the mountain to the crescendo that it deserves, it fell into a fucking ravine and drowned. But Mass Effect Andromeda looks like it'll be a clean slate. Things look prettier. I don't know, what the additions are apart from a jetpack, and the protagonist isn't a male or a female. They're a set of brother and sister, or twins even. I'm looking forward to Andromeda because the world is quite rife for exploration. I can't remember what sort of time period it is if it's hundreds of years before or after the effect of the place of the last Mass Effect series, but it'll be interesting to see a sort of continuity either way. What happened before the First Contact War? What happened after the Reaper crisis? Either way, you're looking at some incredible storytelling, hopefully. They have learned from the last one. And please, to fucking God, EA, let the people who know what they're doing do what the fuck they need to do. Don't push release dates. Don't pressure them. Don't be a corporate cock. It's not necessary. Mass Effect's made you money. Stop trying to fucking ruin it, please. Next up on the list, obviously, is Persona 5. I've gushed about Persona 5 a lot, so I'll keep this short. Yes, it's a JRPG, it's a stylish as hell JRPG. I put my pre-order down, and even though I cannot currently afford it, I will sell things to afford it. If I don't have enough money by then, because it is the game of the year for me. Things come close, right, but this is the game for me. It will occupy me for at least 100 hours, easily more, knowing the Persona series. I will delight in the new story, riddled with style, the great soundtrack, still done by Shoji Meguro. I cannot do anything but gush about it. It is the JRPG of the year for me to look forward to. And if you haven't, looked at Persona 5 yet. Look at the trailers, look at the character reveals, hopefully in Japanese because the dub is still terrible. By the way, they're going to release with the free Japanese soundtrack DLC, so, voice dub DLC, so sweet! Ukulele, and before I even begin, I'm a backer of it. Back when I had money in the Stone Age, I backed it. So take whatever bias you think is there. Full disclosure. I am looking forward to this because platformer games have been a scarcity in... I don't know why I went Irish or Scottish or whatever they are. They've been a scarcity lately, and it's a shame because there's some sort of primal, basic happiness trigger when you land correctly on a platform, you avoid that enemy, you made it up a goddamn mountain in 2 minutes. It's a damn shame that this genre is no longer accurately represented. And I know that this is a subgenre, the collectathon or platformer or whatever. I personally have never played any of the Banjo-Kazooie games, but looking at other people play them and footage, I can't help it but be annoyed by them. It seemed like it was terrible in absolutely every way to me, and I know it has a big fan base, but Ukulele, I am looking forward to it. It looks like it'll be a bit more modern, a bit more user-friendly, and I just love platformer games, and I'm dying to see what a talented team like the Rare team, or members of, can pull off without the incessant micromanagement and Kinect shackling bullshit of Microsoft. And yes, I do really fucking hate Microsoft, so should you. Outlast 2, this is a horror game that I haven't, played. I understand the first one is good at setting the mood, and I do plan to play, when I do get streaming capability, Outlast 1. It's completely new to me, right? So I've been in the room with someone playing it, but I've been on a handheld or something. I haven't looked at any of the scares. I know nothing about it. Outlast 2 looks to be the other big thing this year for people of the suspense/horror genre. And while I'm not going to be personally invested because I haven't played 1 yet and I don't know when I can, I will acknowledge that this is a much needed vein injection of adrenaline into the somewhat half-dead horror genre. There's not many good representatives lately. I'm looking forward to it because the roommate's going to get a blast out of it. I will say, however, that the absolutely insulting diaper Kickstarter is painful. It is a PR move, and all PR is good PR, but I don't know. It just feels condescending and a bit machismo-esque. Oh, my game is so good you're going to shake yourself. I don't know. That's possibly not the best foot to put forward, but the game will stand on its own merits, I feel like. Unless it pulls a Fez, where it was an accidental success and the dev doesn't know what it's doing. Except, Fez 2 is never going to come out because Phil Fish doesn't know what he's doing, and that was a complete success. And Phil Fish is a dickhole. But moving on. Red Dead 2, I've not played Red Dead 1 yet, and I am aware of how much of a sin that is, because I've possessed Red Dead for years. I will eventually get around to it. It's the hype around this game has surprised me. It's Rockstar, I know, and Rockstar is generally good for the quality of their games. The writing, the open world, the possibilities. I am baffled by the hype around this game personally, but I do look forward to it because while I'm not keen on the idea of playing on a console where you have to 3D aim and the movements in that sort of 3D, and you need the responsiveness of like your aiming, I prefer to do that on a keyboard and mouse. I've played GTA 5 on a console first, and it wasn't exactly terrible. You can make do, but I'd much rather they put Red Dead 1 on the PC and Red Dead 2 on the PC. Unfortunately, Rockstar wrongly thinks that pirates control the PC and you can't make a profit off anything. So that's probably never going to happen. That's the extent of my disappointment. I'm intrigued by the hype, and I have played maybe like 20 minutes of Red Dead, and I can see just based off those 20 minutes, the introduction, what it's about, the hype. I support this entirely because this seems like a very, very good thing for both gaming in general and consoles. So there's that. I can't say much about it because I don't want to involve myself in it. I don't want to have... If it has story spoilers, I don't want to know what happens in one. People have already spoiled for me that, the protagonist at the end of quote-unquote, of one dies and then you play as his son. There's no way you cannot be spoiled by that in this day and age, but... Besides that, I don't want, anything ruined for me. The new South Park came fractured, and I refuse to mention the full name because it's too immature even for me. Yeah, the original Stick of Truth was refreshing. It was. This is cliche and this is horrible, but it was literally like playing the TV show. I look forward to it, even though it's at the tail end of the year. I am quite excited to. The humor, it's infantilical, it's toilet humor, it's stupid, it's juvenile, it's referential, it's everything that in a perfect mix. That even if you just have pop culture humor and you don't or you don't like it, you're going to be turned on and turned off by the other bits of humor, but it's mixed so that you're never annoyed. The gameplay was solid, and the tweaks that they're doing with it, the battle system, is welcome. I think they'll be more fleshed out. I don't know anything about the story. I don't know if there's been material released. I just saw a bit of it and the announcement, and I thought this is a must get for me. So at that point, it's off. I don't care about the news. I don't care what it may or may not support. I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna risk saying that you should if you're not turned off by what is essentially, I will completely agree, puerile humor in most places. You should definitely get it because it's a fucking blast. Well, the old one was. I'm guessing this one will be. The last of the games to definitely talk about is Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Slightly annoyed that Naughty Dog said, "Oh, this is the final Uncharted," and then they went to, "Oh, Drake's story is over," and then they put out a new Uncharted. Uncharted 4 does deserve every bit of acclaim it gets. It as well as the precursors has got, it's got its annoying elements and moments, but overall it was a very enjoyable, a disgustingly well detailed adventure. Like, holy fucking hell. The textures look beautiful, the writing was solid. I also didn't like the random inclusion of Drake suddenly having a brother. Some of the twists, you could see it coming. Some of the twists were a bit crap. But overall, if you look at it as what it's meant to be, as a sort of adventure, a fraternic adventure, and I still don't like that he exists, by the way. I can accept it, but I don't like it. It does its job. You go here, you see this wonderful thing, you have a retardedly amazing shootout in a set piece, and it's still Uncharted. It's Uncharted Plus, and it's great. Uncharted 4, that is. Lost Legacy, again, female leads is good, and I've actually been interested in I forget what's her name, the antagonist chick from sidekick chick from Uncharted 4. I'm so sorry I can't get her name. I don't want to refer to her as anything else. I don't want politics on my videos. This is a fun channel. But her teaming up with Chloe? I think Chloe. I'm so awful. I'm sorry. That's it. That's an interesting thing. Is they set out to have their own fortune, and I am curious after the face heel turn of the military lady from 4. What is she doing? Is this a prequel? Is that how he ends up with whatever his name is? I forget his name as well. Very, very interested. It's not just because of their gender, but the character herself is so interesting to me. It's rare. It's three-dimensional writing isn't "I'm bad and I kick puppies." It's "I kick puppies but I don't like it," or "I kick puppies because I'm paid to because I need to." But having that heel face turn makes an incredibly human character, and I'm dying to know how she ends up in there or where she went from there. This is a character that through writing and her actions has made me care about what happens to her. This is fucking good writing. I'm excited for Lost Legacy, and I'm probably going to swallow the purchase because if it's more Uncharted with a tonal change, I can get behind that. Now, the games that are possibly coming this year, they've been confirmed for a sort of general this year release, but they, not a specific date, and they might be pushed back for whatever reason. The Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is a remaster for the PS4 of the original 3 games. What can I say? My first ever gaming console was a PS1. Crash Bandicoot was among the first things I've ever played. It was really fucking difficult, maybe because I was young, maybe because I wasn't properly skilled up as a gamer yet. Whatever, I enjoyed the Crash games, and it has been a long time coming to have this happen. I am stoked to fucking hell. It's going to be a trip down nostalgia lane, and it might not run as well, it might not look as bad or run as bad, so the full nostalgia isn't there. But I believe that if anyone, then the people working on this can put the correct amount of care and love into it. You know, no doubt the people who are doing it are in their 20s and 30s, so obviously they played the original as well. At least most of them. I'm gonna wager you don't get into game development if you don't like games to a certain degree. And it's exciting. It's exciting because now I am not 10 to 13 anymore. I'm going to be a fat, unattractive 30-year-old male in just a month and whatever many days. I am part of a generation now that isn't the hip teens and late teens that usually used to play video games. That means that now the actual 12 to 18-year-olds can enjoy what we thought was one of the best things ever at the time. And it might not be. It might have aged like shit. But we on one end, we get to experience one of the best things of our childhood. And I hate that word in most instances. And the new generation can possibly be dragged into a snapshot of the past when games were releasing in a better state. They were quality releases. You know, they weren't as complex. They didn't look as nice, but they didn't have 10 gigabyte fucking day one patches, constant requirement to be online, gated off multiplayer, tacked on multiplayer. If this has tacked on multiplayer, I will be so pissed off. That has no right to exist if it's a remaster. Take that shit out. And I'm not saying there's rumors, because there's no rumors, but this is not what I'm looking forward to the most, but it is my baby. It is my baby of the bunch. Persona 5 is my darling, Yooka-Laylee is my angel, and this is my darling. Or whatever I mean. I'm confused. I'm so hyped for this. I want this to go out well because it is important for everyone. Everyone. I don't care that the 45-year-old bitter, clueless shitsuits who fund these companies don't care. I care, and millions across the planet care. So, even if it doesn't have the biggest impact, this is the biggest thing of this year, I think. And you know how I like Persona 5. And the other titles ain't no slouches either. But this is, for the history of gaming, massively important, and I trust them not to fuck it up. But I'm also a little bit worried, because it's my baby. Now, moving on. I sat down, knowing I'm going to do this 2017 games looking forward to thing, and I did some research. I opened up Wiki and I thought, what's releasing? I made a list. That's what I'm reading off of because I'm shit. Everything else is ad-libbed. But, you know, to my shock and horror, Full Throttle Remaster. Are you kidding me? When CD-ROM drives were new, that's when I played that goddamn thing. When I was like 8. Still, I think we even launched off MS-DOS. I'm not sure. But I had a 2 or 4x speed, shitty beta version 1 disk drive. We played it off that. It was so much fun. The Gone Jackal's intro, the stupidly good intro. Everything about it was the proper tone of Kick-Ass. And a game following bikers and, you know, not conspiracies, but murder plots. And, I don't know. This is the 7 or 8-year-old me speaking, but fucking hell, I love this game. I was absolutely wrenched by LucasArts' retarded decision to cancel too. Literally, why would you do this? Then they got sold and there's no hope of anything anymore, I think. But the remaster, I would play it again in a heartbeat. I'm not exactly sure what you can remaster when the base game still plays fine on ScumVM or whatever. You can play it just fine. GOG has it, you can play that just fine. It doesn't have compatibility issues. So I don't exactly, I've not researched anything. 5 minutes before I started this video recording is when I found out that this exists. I was floored by this news because I love Full Throttle. You know, it's not a continuation to Ben's story. It might be expanded, but as it's a remaster, I don't think so. They're not amazing characters by any means, but they're pretty good. I want to find out what happens to Maureen after the whole signing over happens. There's surely going to be new conflict there. Ripburger was an amazing antagonist. I love the way he died, and the entire, last half an hour of the game is just bonkers. It's the correct type of bonkers. I love it. I am dead set on this. I'm buying this even if there's no money in my account. Like, I will sell myself to get this. Adventure games, who said they're dead? Fuck, I'm so excited. And now we'll come to the dishonorable mentions, the games that I personally feel don't really have a right to exist, because they're fucking terrible. So this is an opinionated rant / shit spewing session. I don't think, FF12 Zodiac Age. Okay, so this released back on the PS2, and even on the PS2, I've given it its chance. I've played it for 30, 40 hours. I don't think I've ever beaten it. But I didn't like any of it. A single bit of nothing. The soundtrack that is set up to be Evolution and shares certain motifs and aspects with other games like Vagrant Story and Final Fantasy Tactics, that was purely average for me. I didn't feel at all touched by the soundtrack. It was thematically appropriate, and I can recognize that it's good for that, but it felt like a lot of pompous fanfare and a whole lot of nothing. Nothing in the FF12 soundtrack was amazing. The gameplay was utter shit. I didn't like it. It was a fucking single-player MMO. Get out of town, wait half a minute for the field to load, here's a wolf, it attacks you. It says it's readying an attack, but it immediately uses that readied attack on top of the normal attack that it would have used, so it gets a free attack. Okay, I didn't like that mechanic, and maybe you can do it down the line, I don't remember. The contempt blocks it. And I go here, do this side quest, go here, do this side quest. Killing shit doesn't level you up properly. You get license points that lets you equip stuff, and that's maybe how you get stronger. You've spent 5 hours chaining monsters to get experience to kill the second demon wall so you can attempt to farm the incredibly rarely spawning weapon, to have it spawn, access to the rare spawning weapon. And you barely get stronger for 4 fucking hours of grinding. It is ridiculous, it is insulting, it is not a real MMO, I don't like it. I didn't like the old one, it was a travesty upon both gaming and Final Fantasy as a general. I am genuinely upset and insulted that Square Enix is wasting time and money re-releasing this. This loathsome pile of garbage. Like, people revile 13, go, it's a corridor game and it looks bad. No, this is bad. Yeah, that might have been autopilot and press X to win, even though it wasn't. It was linear, but 90% of your favorite games are linear, guys. It might be that this area is here, and you can explore, but then you need to go into this area to advance the story. It might not be as linear in the same exact way, but things are more linear than you think. Pokemon is goddamn linear. I love Pokemon. I'm playing Moon and having a goddamn blast, but it is disgustingly linear. Go here to unlock the gate to go here to beat the trial, to unlock the gate to go to this trial, to unlock the kahuna so you can go to the next island. You cannot say to me that that is not linear, because linear games actually have a design edge. For story-wise, you can plot what happens, you can tell a grander thing if you have loose ends locked off and you don't allow the player to sequence break. Such that you go here where a character dies or is injured and they're perfectly fine in the story cutscene, I enjoyed 13 less than I should have, and I don't think it's a good Final Fantasy game by any means, but it was enjoyable. The story was an absolute mess, but the combat was fun, and combat's most of what you do in these games, so I'm a little bit torn. 12, though, combat was shit. Almost all the characters were unforgivingly shit. Balthier, or Bash, I don't know, the suave pretty boy is the only thing that saves the characters. Van was a generic, boring, no merit, nothing. If the story didn't include him, it wouldn't have changed. Princess Chick needed rescuing. Bunny Ears Girl. Oh, let's do that in a kids game. Let's essentially make a Playboy bunny. I don't care. That's that race. You didn't. I liked nothing out of 12, and I am really upset that Square Enix is wasting time and money on Zodiac Age. I know that there's been an update between these games, the International Zodiac Edition for the PS2. I don't know. I hate it. I hate everything about it. The confusing way the limit breaks worked, which weren't called limit breaks. The fact that it is more autopilot than 13 because you can set up little gambits, right? Oh, if I'm at 50% health, I'll use a potion. You can program your guys to fucking play the game for you once you get into a battle. That is atrocious to me. That is literally an MMORPG. That is like setting up macros in World of goddamn Warcraft. I am so angry. This game does not deserve to exist. It didn't deserve to exist then, but to further waste money on it, instead of releasing or updating previous classics, I am annoyed as fuck. I don't consider FF12 a valid JRPG, Final Fantasy game. I don't even consider it a proper game. It's a walled-off MMO. I have so much contempt for it, and I don't know what Square Enix is doing. Moving on, because I'm just repeating myself now. Metal Gear Survive might come out this year. Oh boy. Oh boy, after all the shit Konami's done, after the way they treat their workers, after everything, denying Kojima the fucking award he deserves for his masterpiece on Metal Gear 5. You know, whatever you think of the story and the bits that were cut, I'm absolutely... You know, Kojima has been abused and kicked out of the company and fucking borderline ridiculed out in the open world by Konami just because, you know, they wanted to. So, half of me is convinced that Kojima didn't want to cut the game and leave it in a shit state. I know he's an ambitious man, but he's always delivered. And, you know, whatever you say of cutscene heaven Metal Gear or out there Metal Gear or weird story Metal Gear, he's delivered. Consistently solid experiences. I'm absolutely sure that were it up to him, he would have finished the game properly. So, that's me saying that Metal Gear 5, to me, was a masterpiece. And even though it had a big score at the end with the chapters and shit, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I put over 150 hours into it. I replayed it like twice, and I almost never replay games. But yeah, life without Kojima, the legend, the Metal Gear, Mr. Metal Gear, he's gone. So what did Konami do? Well, they said, fuck gamers, we're going to do pachinko games. Then pachinko games didn't work, so they said, oh, we're going to do mobile games. So that didn't work, so they're saying, oh, no, our commitment's strong here. We're going to do PC games, we're going to do triple game games. And what did they come out with? A fucking palette swap, cooperative zombie shooter shit. Really? Really, bitches? You're going to do Left 4 Dead? 2007's Left 4 fucking Dead? You're going to do that 7 fucking years later with an IP you have not got the stones to own? You fucking disgrace. You're walking over the IP. The first thing you do after pissing off players multiple times is you make the most cookie cutter shit, and there are no words for the dark irony present here. I know Konami was a legend, and Konami used to be a trusted household name, but, you know, the company is abusing absolutely everyone that works for it. I am personally on the opinion that the sooner they die, the better, because their IPs can then be bought up by hopefully competent fucking companies. And really, I feel sorry for every developer who has to be monitored, ridiculed, reduced to numbers. I don't want them to lose their job. In a perfect and happy world, I would love for them to keep their jobs, and they deserve better treatment and, frankly, better jobs. So maybe the company going bankrupt would be better for them as well. This isn't to say that I'm not trying to justify my wish for them to go bankrupt, but I don't know. Japanese developers for PC platforms are out of touch already. They don't quite know what to do with PC. Konami, though. Fuck me, Konami. All the shit that's come out, yeah, like even before they started their abuse of Kojima, I am baffled and perplexed and incredibly annoyed. Survive doesn't need to exist. It doesn't deserve to exist. It reuses existing maps with minor alterations, obviously, from, almost said Peace Walker there, from Metal Gear 5, The Phantom Pain. And it's so token, it's so disgusting and no effort. It's, oh, we put a stealth system in. No, being seen by fucking enemies that then attack you isn't a new stealth system, and it isn't a stealth system. It's a line of sight system, mate. Just don't get me started. Oh, but it's cooperative. Okay, show me another Metal Gear game, mainline Metal Gear game, that was cooperative. Oh, none of them, that's fine, yes. You know, well, Peace Walker is one of the best side games. I consider it a side game, even though it ties into the main story of Big Boss. That had an option to co-op with a partner, and you did get benefits from doing that. Certain moves you could do, you could only do with a co-op partner, so moves, but it wasn't co-op reliant. I have no, that, like, this is actually so disgusting. They're trying to cannibalize the corpse of the man who built most of their empire. It is shameful, it is disgraceful, it is unsightly. And you can, just from the tone of that, you could tell the vitriol and bile I have for Konami is, I don't like this. They're not treating anyone with respect. Are you a buyer? Buy this recycled shit. Are you Kojima? Fuck you. You built our empire, but fuck you. Are you a developer? We're gonna subject you to utter hell to do this because you follow our orders, or we will fire you, shift you into menial duties that pay nothing. I loathe this company, and I would be very happy if it went out of business. There's still the disclaimer there that I do not want any of the programmers, developers to have, the actual people doing the actual hard work under a supervise to have their lifestyle or indeed their life diminished in any capacity. Sometimes, I consider this tearing off a band-aid quicker instead of just waiting for it. I wish all the best for the hardworking, no doubt hardworking Konami developers. But I do think that whether or not I want it to, Konami is going to die and is going to go bankrupt. And that'll be better for almost everyone. I'm absolutely certain. The only thing, I might be wrong about this because Sega's been putting out mostly shit Sonic games forever, and they were not a big company. I didn't think of them as a huge company in terms of gaming. So to find out, a while back that not only are they somehow still alive, but they bought Atlas, the people who make Persona 5. I was fucking shocked. They'd had money to not only not go bankrupt, that honestly was a little bit of a surprise, but then to have money to buy out a wonderful company that made all these smash, cult, niche, whatever you want to call it, hits. I was a little bit floored. So on that note, I could be wrong about Konami going bankrupt, but it does smell like the fishes are gathering. All the talents left are pissed off or leaving. The IPs, they're ruining their IPs. Metal Gear's a fucking pachinko game. Silent Hill's a pachinko game. They have no more creative integrity left. They have no more interest in proper gaming. They have contemptuously told you that they have no interest in proper gaming. So, hands up in real life, shrugging what is a gesture essentially. This is what you've got to look forward to in 2017. Some of it, might not be 2017, but for all the what the hells and all the negatives, I am really excited about this little short list. There's some that might make it. If I played any of the Nier games, I would have loved them, I'm sure, but I haven't, so I'm not excited and I don't care. I might replay them and then get the new Nier games this year, yada yada yada. This is exciting. This is a variety we haven't seen in a while, and the promise of quality, the openness with which some demos and gameplays have been shown off has me really, really excited and hopeful for this year. So to recap, we're having Resident Evil 7 that looks like it's a somewhat of a return, not to Roots, but the proper suspense setting. Tales of Berseria on the console, or if they remove Denuvo, or if I get it, it's a Tales game. You're not going to get a whole lot different from a Tales game that you haven't had before, but all of them have been quite solid before, and I would have looked forward to the story, I might still. But, you get a very good JRPG experience. Neo, Dark Souls, whatever the hell, feudal spirit, I don't know what his deal is, but more Dark Souls, basically. Yes, please! I don't even have to say anything, it's just more Dark Souls, give me it. Horizon Zero Dawn, it looks like an interesting idea, and I am very excited to see what you can do with an open world and hunting and a bow that isn't climb up on this fucking tower and activate this fucking radio tower. Ubisoft. Thank you. Breath of the Wild, Zelda has been a careful darling of mine. I was never a Nintendo kid, you see, because I didn't loathe Nintendo. I still don't. I hate what they do in places, but I just never had a Nintendo console until very recently. It was just something that didn't happen. I didn't seek to avoid Nintendo. So I'm, cautiously warm about Zelda in general. But it's usually fun adventure games with the odd frustrating bits, and some of it's very clever, and all of it is mostly fun to play. So I'm excited for it, and I don't know if I'll own it on the Wii U. More info later. But I'm excited, and I'm excited for the people who are gonna get to play it because it looks like tremendous fun. Mass Effect Andromeda, basically more of the same but better with a jetpack. I get to look at all the odd, weird alien species again. Maybe there'll be a massive inclusion of story bit. That's good. Look forward to that. Persona 5, deal, done. Next. Yooka-Laylee, the long dead platformer genre is having a wonderful rising star. I hope it continues to soar and doesn't do a mighty number 9, but honestly don't think so. I think the Rare team, off Shackles, is too competent to let it fail, and it does look good from what we've seen so far. More power to them. Outlast 2 is going to bring proper suspense horror back as well. Hopefully, I've seen nothing but the teaser trailer for it, and I'm not personally excited for it, but I can recognize that it is a niche that sorely needs filling and representation. So good, everyone, good job. Get out there and play it. Red Dead 2, Red Dead 2, nothing more to say. If you've played Red Dead 1, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, like me, then you don't know what I'm talking about, so let's move on. South Park, yeah. Humor, loyalty to source material I can absolutely respect, and, the combat wasn't the best thing in the original one. It was alright, but I was there for the humor, the visuals, and I was not let down. I'm excited for this as well, and so should you be. Uncharted, more Uncharted is never bad. Adventuring, good old hardcore adventuring, going here, seeing places, doing ruins, yes. I don't know why, but you can get behind that. The shooting mechanics have never been a problem, so I trust them to at least give us more of the same, if not slightly evolve the franchise. Like you can't lose either way. And with the PS4, they're getting used to the PS4 properly, so they're probably going to be more tweaks and twists and, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, yes, please, all my puppies, yes, this is happening. I will make it happen. I want this. I look forward to this. Full Throttle Remastered. I have here in my notes in big all caps, next to everything else. Full Throttle Remastered. What? Yes, I'm still floored by this revelation. I want this, and it is one of the most important games of my childhood. It didn't have a huge impact. It wasn't a downright 10 out of 10 amazing game, but it had character, it had style. I'm looking forward to playing this again, and I'm looking forward to others playing it again because it's a wonderful game. And more adventure games, when done right, aren't actually a problem. I am just very happy that this is happening. So, thank you for listening to this nearly hour-long little rant, and look forward and whatever else you might want to call it. 2017 is going to look like it's going to be amazing for gaming. I hope we all have as much fun as I suspect I'm going to have, whether or not you're looking forward to these games or you're looking forward to different games. I hope that you, as much as me, enjoy yourself as much with gaming this year as possible. Yeah, big old adventure, your full possibilities. See you guys soon. Thank you for listening. If you feel like it, share the video, like, subscribe, the usual thing. I'm not going to do this begging a lot, but as I'm just starting out, I would really appreciate it if you think what I say is relevant or helpful or whatever. Whew. See you on the flip side of this wonderful year full of exciting gameplay, guys. Chill Naga out.